Greetings, Captain's Gunship here. Hope you are doing well. This is a review of the Newport news. It's the main prize for Guidance Winter event. And we're going to do a few things here. We're going to compare it to other US ships because I'm sure you want to know how it stacks up. We're also going to compare it to Battleships and Battlecruisers because at battle rating 6.3 you are likely to meet a few of those on your way. I'm going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons and the best way to play the ship. And I'm going to tell you, or at least spend a few seconds on how I researched it, which way I think you should do the modules. Finally, you might be standing here and thinking, should I keep it for myself? Should I sell it? Or, you might be on the other side of the fence and, I want to buy it. Should I buy it? Is it a good ship to spend my money on? So without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so starting the comparison, let's look at the Newport news on its own. To understand the spreadsheet, you got the armor, that's the armor belt 152mm, the crew count 1799, the speed, displacement in tons, the battle rating, and then the broadside, that is 9 main guns you can put on target at 8 secondary guns. You got the time in seconds for the reload, that is with an 8 crew at 100%, and that basically gives you a return of fire calculation that ultimately ends in two things. What it's like to shoot high explosive, and that gives you 1407 kilos of TNT per minute you can put down with a Newport, or if you're using AP and SAP on the secondaries, then you get 355, but ultimately the max armor penetration 390mm, that's the main guns, or 150mm for the secondaries. When comparing to the Pittsburgh, we can immediately see why this new cruiser is at battle rating 3.6, because it has a lot more crew, about 650, and the big thing here is the reload time because of the autoloaders. It's the same guns that reloads 2.5 times faster, and that makes a huge difference. The Helena is arguably the best 6.0 cruiser in the game, but also that loses out to the raw firepower of the Newport. Yes, it got 15 main guns, but they are only 6 inch rather than 8, and so it doesn't get quite the performance there. It has slightly less armor belt and a lower crew count as well, and also the max armor penetration is down. The only other 6.3 ship in the US lineup is the North Dakota, and it's a bit hard to compare, but we'll try anyway. Obviously it's a battleship, so it has a higher armor belt. Crew count is less though, and speed is nothing to write about. Apart from a higher max armor penetration, really the Newport news is the ship to have. When comparing the Newport to the very best ships in the game, actually difference is not as big as you may think. And if you look at the Newport and the Alaska, for example, you look at it at a glance and think, actually that is not that far out. Consider that the battle rating difference is 0.7. Yes, the battleships of course have higher penetration because their 12-inch guns are higher, but the Newport beats everybody on the reload rate for sure. And of course, it only has the protection of a cruiser and not a battle cruiser or battleships. But you take 2 or 3 cruisers and put them together against one battleship, and it's it's doable to take down battleships, and that's what's happening at the moment. I've actually heard from quite a few that are sort of like a bit reluctant to put their battleship in and play it because of this. So what is the Newport like to play? Of course, in the start you just have to make sure you get the tool set and get over that first hurdle. Use other ships to help prepare you on your way if you like. Make sure you get the AP shell after that, because you really need that, and that makes a big difference to your firepower, especially as the game is right now. And firepower is really where it is. You don't want to be first into battle particularly, but you want to be there to really lay down the fire, and it's a great ship for that, and you will really like it for that. What it also has going forward is the radar. That's very good against planes. You may have noticed I put in yes or no against how good it was with AA, because it really depends whether you have the AA VT shells and you manually aim at planes coming in. If you do that, you have a really good chance of protection against anything that flies. But if you don't and only allow it, it only has a few 3-inch guns automatic on the ship. It's a bit hit and miss whether you kill the plane or not. So I would definitely recommend manual aiming and use the leading shot thing so you can fire one shell at a time. So that moves us into sort of the con side of it. And the con side is really the battle rating. Because it's 6.3, you are, of course, more likely to meet battleships or battlecruisers as is right now. On the other hand, you know, you do together, if you play with 2 or 3 other people, just focus fire. And battleships, they do go down. It can dish out a good amount of damage. Other slight con with the ship is, if you look here and compare it to the Mikuma, it's big. You know, the silhouette stands out a little bit more. And yes, you can't hide in a bush really easily. So that's kind of how the ship plays, but it feels good. When you get some of the modifications, it just helps. And yeah, you will fall in love with the ship after 8-10 battles for sure. I think that you will really love it then. And it's unique at the moment. Is that sort of a new type of ship? I mean, later on, maybe we will get like a Salem or a Des Moines. I mean, maybe one of them will be the Tech 3 version, and the other one, well, if that becomes a premium ship, oh goodness help us, that could certainly be interesting. So quickly on modifications, here are the first 10 I would research and in what order. Obviously toolset, AP round. Fire protection system at the moment you don't actually need because there's a fault in the game, but assuming you're watching this review a little bit later and Gaiden has actually fixed it, then fire protection. Then I would go with the armament and take the down the line of 4, 5 and 6, because I found with that and the improved rangefinder that really that helped a lot with how I landed the shots. You need the AAVT shell, and after that rotor replacement and some of the unsinkability, seakeeping, etc. And that should put you on a very good road to a successful run with a Newport. So as the Newport is an event ship, you will either have researched it or you have not. If you have researched it, should you keep it? Well, if you are naval main, I think you definitely should keep it. It's a great ship, and it will be a little while, a patch or 2 I think, before we will see other 6.3 ships in the game. And if you don't want to wait for that, then have some fun. You earned it. If you want to sell it, I'm sure you'll get a reasonably good price for the ship. And if you're a main in naval that basically didn't have time to get this ship, then as before, you know, there might be time in the future we'll get another 6.3 ship. Or if you're a collector, you know, yeah, it's probably worth getting. You'll have fun with this ship, and I think you'll see a lot of 6.3 or 7.0 battles in naval going forward. With all that in mind, I hope that you find this review comparison useful of the Newport. And if you enjoyed this video, please, I would love to have your subscription or a like from you. That all the payment I get for doing this work. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.